There were many points in history which fundamentally shaped our civilization into what it became. From the founding of Rome, to the defeat of Carthage, to the age of the early Principes, to the conquest of Germania, and the discovery of the Regnalienum. But as all those triumphs marched through the centuries, one of the most fundamental transformations of everyday life was the mechanization of the Republic. Since the days of Alexander, Grecia has been tinkering with clockworks of many uses. Some of the most common were found on their ships. They were simple calculators which mapped the positions of the stars to make navigating the seas a simple task. Once integrated into the Republic, their tinkering spread to every corner of Rome. Only one thing was missing to ignite their innovations into a revolution of our daily lives. That thing bled through the realms into Britannia in the early 10th century, crystallum jovia. These stones, which appear quite similar to white quartz, can move and direct lightning. Study of the jovia revealed numerous ways the crystal could be specialized. It was a conduit which could be grown to perform numerous transformations of energy. When grown in titanium, the crystal became incredibly strong. When struck with a hammer, the jovia will generate its own lightning, arcing outward in the direction of the crystal's grain. When grown in lead, the opposite reaction occurs. Shocking the crystal with lightning will cause it to dart like a crossbow bolt. When properly framed, these gems can send iron bolts further than any known ballista. And that was only the beginning. With a few more Regnalienum added to the mix, jovia could transform into phasite, allowing us to cross realms, as well as tallarite, allowing us to soar through the skies. Sol Invictus had handed us a divine material. Placed in the clockwork of the Grecians, it transformed the Republic forever. I include all this pretext to elucidate that mechanization was in Sophia Trakas' blood. She lived and breathed machines, as if she had thousands of ancestors moving through her. Her own body was a Jovian conduit for their energy. As the mechanist of our Contus, it was her responsibility to maintain the machinery of our armor, make repairs to the corvus if necessary, and in rare cases, study non-natural machinery found in foreign realms. Okay, perhaps my profile of Decanus Nucci was more of a cathartic rant than a personnel report, but I stick by every word unless he proves himself otherwise. I'm sure he's evaluating me just as harshly for Legio Germanica. Anyway, on to our Mechanist. Sophia Trakas stands about 65 uncia tall with olive skin and rare amber-colored eyes. She has chestnut hair with wide curls, but of such volume that it seems to billow off of her like smoke from a chimney. I'm impressed she can contain it all beneath the helmet of her armor, but she does. Outside of that, the only thing which keeps it tamed is a band of amber stone which matches her eyes. It sits around the nape of her neck, funneling the hair down between her shoulder blades. She has so far been the most personable and welcoming me to the Contus, although I think it's a side effect of her extroverted personality. Still, I can sense a sincerity in her words that I very much appreciate. I first met up with her at Castrum Monachium after getting my commission from Elder Randolph. I was surprised that my orders included an upgrade to the Lorica Tetra armored suit. She was in the arsenal, having already torn half of the suit to pieces. 100 linking parts of titanium, iron, bronze, flexillus, and foreign materials were splayed out across the floor like the Aegean Islands. She was wearing a work blouse and trousers with thick boots. When she heard me come in, she turned, passing a tool to her other hand while offering her arm. I took it and thought she would tug me off my feet. Even through the thick gloves, her grip strength was impressive. Without much questioning on my part, she began enthusiastically describing the process of upgrading my armor. She showed the extra layers, compared the thickness and strength of certain plate sections, the strength of the new skin material, the durability of the robe's underlayer, and showed the enlarged Jovian crystal which would power it all. Trakas also managed to weave in a few personal details about herself so seamlessly into the mechanics discussion that I almost missed them in the noise. Her family hail from Thessalonica. She's one of 2 girls in a family of 8 siblings. Despite that sibling dynamic, she and her sister fight the most. Her favorite brother is Alexios, the third oldest, because they were both the most mechanically inclined and used to work in tandem quite often. He is also a mechanist, serving the Frontinium in Aegyptus. Alright, this place seems quite enough to record.
Well, it's not going to stay quiet.
I guess not. Please state your title and name.
Mechanist Sophia Trakas.
How long have you been a part of Contus Germanica 7?
Oh, soul. I think 7 years?
What made you pursue work in a Contus rather than serve the Archimedium full-time?
I could have done that. But my father did that, and his mother. Then Alexios is with the Frontinium. I'd be just the same as them. The Hellenes, they love the seas and they love the skies, but no matter how many ostiums we make, very few of us are brave enough to step through. Well, not me. I fear nothing. Except Nucci. A little. Oh, and my yaya. Whenever I am back home for a visit, she beats me for every child she thinks I should have by now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. She has very weak arms.
Right. So do you have any advice for me going forward?
Oh, yes. The first thing you should do is...
Sophia went on for quite a long time, so I'll distill the essence of her points here. Being the social maven that she is, her advice concerned tips for interacting with the others. Nucci, of course, is the least personable, but according to her, he does have an Achilles heel, so to speak. A few simple questions about a past mission of his has a good chance of getting him to talk about it in certain detail. His mind is always on other realms. A bit of wine also helps. McGlasson is a bit trickier, because getting her talking can go either way depending on her mood. While she enjoys the clear spirits, her liquor of choice is song. Humming a few bars of a song or a few phrases of verse, which she's already familiar with, will quickly get her singing as well. It's the best odds of making her cheerful. She may sing for quite a while though, and quite loudly. DeFleur is perhaps the most easygoing of them all. The path to her good graces can be found in the markets. Fine cheeses, sweets, and breads are her favorites among the richer foods. For drinks, she takes wine only in strict moderation and much prefers sparkling tonics. Chung, our alchemist, is soft-spoken. This is not for lack of confidence, but rather for lack of interest. He'll engage in conversation only if he deems it a good use of his time. However, he is also non-aggressive. The times I've seen Sophia speak in his general direction, he will pay passing attention, if only to stay informed on any critical information Sophie might weave into her larger diatribes. Trakas, of course, can be engaged at almost any hour. I've seen DeFleur wake her from a dead sleep, and she will be alert and conversational as quickly as a lightning strike. One final thing I feel like can't leave unrecorded is just how confident Sophia's personality can be. This is perhaps best exemplified by an occurrence which happened last month. We'd returned to Castrum Monachium after a very messy expedition. The Absentia we were sent to was covered in tar pits and swamplands, which made shore footing almost impossible to find. I would have remained in the Corvus if not for the fact that the task at hand was to recover a vegetable plant not unlike beetroot. The bulbs of the plant sit a cubit under the water's surface. They were quite difficult to harvest without a dedicated machine to cut all the root fibers. It was easiest just to hop in the swamps and pull them out by hand. Even with the seals in our armor, we still managed to get wet when unharnessing the suits. Every fold and pocket was filled with a thimble of muck, leaving us looking like zebras as it dripped off our tunics and trousers. Naturally, our first destination was the Castrum's baths. We split to our respective sides and spent a long hour in the flowing heated spring. Afterward, Nucci, Chung, and I were donning fresh clothes when Sophia appeared in the men's changing room. She still wore her lower bathwear, but was otherwise as bare-chested as we were. I diverted my eyes upon first glance, but quickly found myself being the only one feeling improper. I was closest to the door, so I was the one she addressed when asking for extra towels. I offered them to her, and she took them, while making no attempt to cover her ample immodesty. The smile on her face proved that she found my embarrassment quite amusing. She said, "Efaristo," before rounding the corner back to the other side. I glanced back at Nucci and Chung, who would have found the situation mundane, save for my reaction, which left them both chuckling. Now, I don't say this to cast any moral aspersions whatsoever. From what I've seen so far, she is a woman of very high character. She's just very comfortable in her own skin, a trait found in every facet of her personality. I look forward to working with her more. Signed, Ulysses Adelbrecht, Envoy, Contus Germanica 7, 30 Julius 2403. Oh my god, Sophia. I completely forgot about that section. You did that to mess with my head. I know you did. Nothing like making an impression by shocking one's modesty. As I learned very well over time, you only whipped out your memories like that for some kind of fiendish scheme. No wonder your sister hated you. Oh, Sophia, I miss you so much. Please keep the others company for me. I'll be crossing soon enough.